Denis, I was hoping you might be able to tell me a little bit about your professional career.
Well, certainly this firm's been running since 1995. Before that, I've been in Canberra since 1975, so quite a few years doing other things, but always in the law. And big firms, small firms, legal aid, worked everywhere. But for the last 30 odd years in private practice and specialising in this work.
As one of the founders of the company, I believe you're still quite hands-on with a lot of the clients.
Oh, certainly. My work hasn't changed from what it's been throughout my career, which is running cases, advising people. I do a lot of my own court work as counsel in my cases, and I find that keeps me sharp and at the cutting edge of what the law's about in this area.
And it must be satisfying for you personally that a lot of clients particularly want to see you, and a lot of that business comes from referral of other clients.
Yeah, well, a very wise man who's now a judge, was a former partner of mine, said you get 90% of your work from 20% of your clients, and generally that comes by way of referral from satisfied customers, and that's really the way it works out. My longevity in the law in Canberra has led me to be pretty well known around the traps as somebody you go to when you've got a family law problem. So I get a lot of that work from referrals from former clients and other lawyers as well.
With over 30 years in family law, you would have seen quite an evolution in the whole world of family law over that time, Denis.
It certainly has changed, and it's changed in a way that, like most of the law and probably life in general, it's more complex. The problems that you're dealing with now are generally more complicated. Certainly people's financial structures and even the common garden case will often involve a self-managed super fund and a family trust and various complexities of asset holdings, which means that we're not talking about simple matters and simple fact situations anymore. Most of the work I do is involved in financial disputes between ex-partners or wives and husbands, and it necessitates a fairly complicated understanding of complicated areas of law like corporations law, trusts, the law of evidence, and general commercial matters.
Denis, a commonly held belief in the community that you don't really need a lawyer for family law, it's all fairly straightforward. How do you respond to that?
Well, certainly as one of the other hats I wear being on the Law Council of Australia's family law executive, I've never been anything of any opinion other than that the more reform we get, the more complicated the law becomes. To try and target what are supposedly problem areas, legislation really just creates more complexity and takes a lot of the ability to handle disputes and sort out their affairs away from the hands of the private self-representing person, and more and more they need the expert advice of a specialist family lawyer.
When you talk about those issues and financial issues or whatever else, are you suggesting that it's inevitably a path that's going to end up in court and that it's going to be a protracted and expensive legal process? Is that the only way, or is there another way to look at family law, Denis?
Firstly, I'd say, Greg, that no, 95% of cases don't go to the judge, don't get to the stage where he takes it or she takes the decision out of the hands of the parties. So settlements are the most common way that matters are resolved, but settlements can happen usually at a very early stage if people sit across the coffee table and work out what they want to do, and that's something that we try to encourage people to do. More often settlements happen when people, having had the benefit of legal advice, then go through a mediation process, a collaborative law process as our firm has pioneered in Australia, or else sometimes a meeting with the lawyers present to thrash out an agreement, and that's often where most settlements that I'm involved in occur. There's no one size fits all in this area, but certainly we try and give people the knowledge and understanding of the legal aspects of their situation so that they can if they're confident enough to do that, work it out with their ex-partner for themselves. One of the other things I did when I was President of Relationships Australia was establish the Canberra Mediation Service, which now is one of the most successful mediation services run by Relationships Australia in this country. And we refer a lot of our clients there, having given them advice, and they come back and say, we've reached agreement and now put it in a legally binding form. And certainly that's a very gratifying and fulfilling result as far as I'm concerned, as well as the parties.
In essence, you still respect if people want the relationship, if there's children involved and whatever else, they want an outcome that people can live comfortably with. That's not disagreeable to you, Denis?
Absolutely. And Greg, it's not my practice to encourage people to go to court, but they don't pay you to soft soap the outcome for them. You give the advice, you give them the options, you give them the alternatives, you try and steer people towards a result that not only fulfills their legal entitlements but perhaps enables them to have an ongoing relationship with their ex-partner, which is usually necessary, especially if there are children, and so that they can get on with their lives and feel comfortable with the things that happened surrounding their separation and the legal formalities. People who insist on having a dispute, we're there to assist them, but having given them the right advice.
It's been nice to catch up with you, Denis.
Thanks.